Thank you for joining us for this wonderful event. I am so excited for today just because it is a milestone for all of us. It's a first for all of us. So welcome to the award ceremony of the Collection Management and Curation course that we have been running for just over 18 months. And I think all of us can agree that it hasn't been easy. It was filled with ups and downs, but we do have lots of highlights, and we have some of us have something to show for that. So welcome, and feel free to interact with us on the chat. I would like us to just go to the chat and greet each other. Let us know where you are joining us from, just like we used to do when we're doing those webinars and the discussion forums. So let's greet each other there. So my name is Fulu Tambani. For those that might not know me, I am the Science Communication Specialist for the NSCF, and I have been involved in the running of the course from when we began. And so today I am going to help us get through the program today. And I will just also introduce the people that we have been working with throughout the course. Also, I have been involved in all the communication regarding the course. So I was the one who was informing you of what's happening, what's coming up, what you need to do, your assignments, and the video editing at some point. And today, what we are here to do is to celebrate those people that participated in the course, but not only that, but they also completed the course. So we are here to celebrate with them and to acknowledge them for the hard work that they have done. And we will also do some reflections on the course itself and our experiences with it. And so today we will have Michelle Hamer as our lead, the NSCF lead, and she has been actually she's been the core of this course, because all the content, let's say over 99% of the content of the course was coming from her brain, from her experience. And she has had to do the curriculum of the course, all the marking, the feedback that you were provided with in terms of your assignments, the assignments themselves, setting them up. And yeah, so you can see that she has been the brains behind the course. So Michelle is going to give us some reflections from her side. We also have Chanel Ribeiro, who is the NSCF project manager. Chanel has also been there from day one, from the conception of the course. And she's been running the webinars and the behind the scenes running of the slides, the discussion forums, the plannings. So she's also been a critical member of the course team. There's also Niklaus Kruger. Nick joined us in early 2022, and he has been helping us with the editing of the recordings and the recordings themselves. So this has been the team that has been working on the course. So we used to have Audrey Ndaba in the beginning, who left us in the middle of the course. So we'd also like to just acknowledge her contributions to the course. Right. If we move to the next slide, I'm just going to, I see my network is a bit weak, but I hope you can hear me. So I'm just going to walk us through the program that we will be following for today. So I did the welcome and introductions, and we will be moving right straight to the course reflections. So we'll start with the reflections from the side of the hub that we're running the course. So we will have Michelle, then followed by Chanel, then Nick, and then I will also provide my reflections. And then after that, we will have reflections from the participants of the course. And this includes those that first participated, even if they didn't complete it. We would like to have them participate in this section. Then we will move to the awards and recognitions, which will be run by Michelle. And so this is where we'll just be virtually handing over the certificates. And just note that you will be sent your digital or soft copy certificates after the award ceremony. And then we'll move to the closing remarks, which will be done by Michelle and myself. Right, that is our program for today. I hope everything is clear. And if you don't understand something, feel free to let us know on the chat and we'll clear that up. Okay, next slide. So I will be handing over to Michelle to get us started with the reflections from the hub. Michelle?
Okay, thanks, Fulu, and good morning, everybody. And thanks very much for joining us for this celebration. It really is, as Fulu said, it's a big milestone. I think for all of us, for the NSCF and everybody who participated in the course. Okay, so as Fulu said, it's been quite a journey just running the course, and there have been ups and downs. It's not been easy, but it's been even goes way beyond just starting the course. So the need for training has been something that has come up repeatedly over more than 10 years. So even in the 2009-10 NRF assessment of the collections, it highlighted the absence of training courses in collection management and curation in South Africa. So, and then when we were developing the proposal for the NSCF, we had several workshops, and people at those workshops again said we need to develop capacity. We looked for what courses existed, and there wasn't anything in South Africa specifically for natural science collections and how to care for them. So we thought we will need to develop something, but we also realized that we had to minimize the impacts on staff time and their work. So we knew that people were busy. There's capacity challenges at many of the institutions, and so the staff wouldn't be able to take off a whole chunk of time to attend a course. We also had to make sure that we could make training accessible to as many staff as possible. So we didn't want to just select a small pool of people. We wanted as many people as possible to be trained. So we had to think about that. And then how could we make it affordable? So we scattered across the country, all of us. And, you know, they would, you know, how do you deal with that with running a course? So those were all things we had to think about in deciding what to do and also how to do it. And so we decided to develop our own course. And one of the most important things was what are we actually going to teach in a course? So what's the right way to do something? How do we know that? We could train people in doing something, but then one institution might say, no, but that's not how we do it. Or that's not a priority. So we had to have something. We had to know what we meant by best practice And that meant developing that manual. So the NSCF manual, it actually took 3 years for that manual to be produced. And that was done as a community effort. So there was the working group, and there was lots of pictures submitted by the community and inputs and comments, and it came from the NSCF community, that manual. And that provided the guidelines and the material and the standards and the best practice that we could use for training. So we published that manual at the beginning of 2021 and distributed it. And some of you might remember Audrey and Usi going around and delivering or couriering those manuals to everybody. And that was in early 2021. And it was during the time of lockdown, and it was a very big time of uncertainty. I don't know whether everybody clearly remembers those days of uncertainty about how long this would last, whether we'd ever go back to work or being able to meet physically. And it was during that time we decided to move forward with a course. We weren't sure what should we do about a training course, but we decided we'd move ahead with it. And we came up with a concept and the topics that needed to be covered. And we presented that to the Collection Management and Curation Working Group and to the NSCF Coordinating Committee and to the Advisory Committee. And we asked for comment and support and the go-ahead, and we eventually got that. So we launched the course in May 2021. So it's a long time ago now. It's well over 2 years, actually. Again, with lots of uncertainty about how it would work, but 73 people did register for the course. And over 18 months, we covered 14 different topics, and each of them had a webinar and a discussion forum. Most of them did. We had tutorials for 13 assignments. We had templates and guidelines for the assignments, and opportunity to submit draft assignments for feedback. So it was a pretty intense time. We recorded each of those sessions, and all the material, all the webinar recordings, presentations, assignment templates, guidelines are all on the NSCF website. So there's a lot of material that was generated. We thought that we'd have an attendance register, but we gave up on that. How do you record attendance when it's virtual? And some people might have been in the field and couldn't miss the session, but they could catch up from the recording, so we just gave up. We had to learn that system interruptions or failures were always a possibility and often a reality. So we all, the hub team, working from home, scattered across the country as well. You don't know whether your child is going to interrupt, your dogs are going to bark, there's going to be a storm, and your system, your connection is going to go down. So often we just had to deal with all of those kinds of things. You know, Fulu put together the great starting video for each of the sessions that was really became like our signature with music. And she also designed and distributed the adverts for the different sessions. I think her creativity really shone through and made a very professional image for the course. She also set up Zoom video, the Zoom webinars, and the Google Drive for the assignments, and she designed and produced the certificates that we'll be handing out today. So she's done a huge amount for the course, and Chanel was always there. Every single session, Chanel was there, just filling in and keeping everything going smoothly. And then Nick joined us to take over the video recording and editing from February 22. So Audrey had started off helping us with the course, and she left in May 2022, and then Usisipo took over from her to manage the assignment submissions and uploading all of them onto the Google Drive. And she also did an amazing job managing a huge number of assignments and resubmissions of those. And then Ian ran the data management topic for the course, and Christian and Adrian ran the discussion forum on working with web collections. And many of the course participants contributed to discussion forums. So many of you presented. And so it was really, this whole course was a big team effort. It wasn't only me, it involved many people. So it wasn't a passive learning thing where everybody just sat. There was lots of contributions. And I'm very, very grateful for all of that. So after working through all of that, there were a lot of assignments, and we had decided we'd taken a joint decision, the course participants had a say in it, that we would not submit, we wouldn't have deadlines for the submission of the assignments until the end. That meant people could manage their own time and their own workload. And so I was very uncertain about what would happen in the end, but I'm happy to say that 10 people submitted assignments as individuals, and then 12 teams submitted assignments. And those teams ranged in size from 2 people to about 8, 9 people. And those teams were, intention was that they would be within an institution and they'd work together on the assignment. Again, we have no way of knowing who did what work, but we just assume that they all jointly contributed. So in total, there were 53 participants who were involved right up until the end and submitted. And each individual and team submitted between 10 and 12 assignments each. And some of the assignments had 2 options, so you could pick option 1 or option 2. And some individuals and some teams actually did both options. So they were super enthusiastic about it. And at the end, we had almost 300 assignments completed. And then for the assessment, so I was responsible for doing the assessment. That I considered how complete was the assignment, how detailed was it, how accurate in the context of the particular collection that was being focused on for the assignment, and then the presentation. So what did the assignment actually look like? How nicely was it presented? So there were scores for 10 assignments. And so some people, where they'd done more than 10, we picked the top 10 marks. And that counted 90% of the final mark. And then for additional materials, so this was notes, presentations that people had given at the forum, the discussion forum, or if they had done additional assignments, so more than the 10 minimum, then there was 10% that was kind of extra points for extra work that had been done as part of the course. So after doing all of those assessments of the assignments and compiling all the marks, this is a summary of the final scores. So if you know anything about teaching or performance assessment, you'd know that's not a very it's not a normal bell curve shape. I don't know why it looks like this, but it does. So we had a cluster of 5 individuals, teams right at the top, and then quite a lot in the middle. So if anyone knows me, some of you might even know me from undergrad teaching when I used to be a lecturer. You'll know that I'm very strict. I don't give points for nothing. So every point that you scored, you know you deserved it. There were no freebies. You worked, and the scores reflect your work. So everybody who got over 50% for the course has passed and will be awarded a certificate, and it's a well-deserved certificate. So I think it's worth celebrating no matter what your mark. If you pass the course, it's something to be proud of. You definitely put in the work. So well done on that. Okay, so just reflecting back on the course, I really enjoyed seeing Fulu's video at the beginning and just going back a little bit just to reflect on all those sessions. So I think that was really nice. But for me, the best parts of the course was working as a team and seeing how the team, the hub team, faced the challenges and dealt with them. Seeing the creativity and the organizational skills and learning new skills. Nick had to learn how to deal with the videos. And then learning from all the contributors to the discussion forums. It was really great to see different collections and the details about how different collections and the staff in them deal with different issues. I think that I learned a lot from that. And then, you know, doing the assessment of the assignments and just seeing the amount of effort that people had put into some of those assignments was really, yeah, very rewarding. And then I was really impressed with the number of participants who stuck it out and submitted their portfolio. I know it was a long journey, and many people had to go through a lot of challenges with COVID, with the protests in KZN, with floods, with load shedding, with all kinds of issues, with workloads. And so just to make it through, I think for me, that was very rewarding to see how many people did. The worst parts for me are you know, dealing with internet challenges and just never knowing when your system was your connection was gonna be bad. Load shedding impacts on everybody. I think you might remember some of the sessions when we were running them, people were just dropping off, and sometimes even while I was trying to present, my connection would go down because of load shedding. So load shedding was a real bummer for this course. And then I think just the ongoing pressure of preparing for the webinars and the discussion forums. We didn't prepare everything in advance, so it was always sitting there knowing that I have to get things ready, get things together for it. And then the pressure of getting the assessments of all the assignments finished in a reasonable amount of time. It was a big push. And it made me think back to when I used to be an academic and have to mark first-year assignments or exams. So coming to the end of this whole course, you know, there's still questions hanging for me. People are asking, so are we going to run the course again? And I haven't had time to get my head around that just yet. We've got to think about it. Do we run the course again? And if we do, should we do it in a shorter time? Some people felt that it was spread out. The way we did it was too spread out over a long period of time, and it would have been better to compress it into a shorter time. Should it be a different format? Should we try and do some physical sessions and some virtual? You know, do the topics work and do the assignments linked to those topics? Is that all fine? And then big questions, you know, has it really made a difference to individuals, to collections, to institutions, and to the NSCF achieving its aims and objectives? So yeah, there's, you know, lots of questions. Lots of the answers would sit with the people who did the course and who worked through it. And we'll learn from having done it. It was the first time, it was an experiment. And yeah, I think we'll learn from this experience and see what happens next. It won't be the end of the training offered by the NSCF. We'll always be offering courses and some form of training, but what those are still needs lots of thought. So thank you. I think I'll end there and hand over to Chanel.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, good morning, everyone. So these are just some reflections from my side. I think sitting at the other side of the course, others might think that we had everything down pat, but it took a lot of research and learning on our side as well. I learned a tremendous amount about all the different facets that go into the collections management. Yeah, there's so much to consider and plan for, much more than I ever anticipated. And also learning about the different management and care methods of different types of collections was eye-opening. I also enjoyed learning from participants in discussion forums and the presentations they prepared, showing what their collections were all about, what challenges they were facing, and what they were really good at. I think the sharing aspect of the course was the biggest highlight for me. But it didn't come without its challenges. Trying to find ways to make each webinar and discussion forum engaging and interesting, because let's face it, not all the themes were easy to get through. The risk management was heavy, and it had so many angles and things to think about that if you didn't keep your head about, you might just lose it. But I think, yeah, Michelle's templates were very valuable, invaluable. And it saved me from completely being lost. Then, as Michelle mentioned, also the technicalities of running the sessions behind the scenes also challenged me to hone in on my problem-solving abilities and dealing with problems and various glitches that we had in the moment. So, yeah, I also want to congratulate my team members for being dependable, expanding their skills and stretching themselves to jump in where they were needed, even when they were hyperventilating behind the scenes. Then I think my favorite themes of the course were the caring for wet collections and the caring for dry collections, because here we could get into the practicalities and challenges faced with the different types of collections. And participants often shared creative, innovative ways that they had to come up with in dealing with issues. So what I would change if we ran the course again. So because we were developing the course content as we were going, we didn't really have time for practical hands-on tutorials. We'd also just come out of COVID hard lockdowns. So when we run the course again, I think we can enrich it with physical workshops, focusing on collection-specific issues and best practices. And maybe we can put more effort into creating communities of practice. I know the Bay Area have started something like that with a community WhatsApp group where they share issues and come up with ideas on how to deal with these. Then finally, I want to share this visual. So some of you might remember this was from a webinar which we ran just before the start of the course, where our organizational development facilitators presented theories on how change happens. And we also had an illustrator sketching our ideas while the community gave their inputs and thoughts. And I think what we've realized is the thing with change is it takes up so much time. It doesn't happen overnight. It's hard work. In the beginning, it feels like the mountain will be impossible to climb. But knowing that you don't have to take the journey on your own, and we're all figuring things out and taking small steps in building something that really has never been done before, just gives you that motivation and that push to just take the first step. And so I'd like to think when we look back at this point, we can say that we have come out the other side, changed for the better, for our collections, for ourselves, and for our teams. And so, yeah, I just like to say well done to everyone who pushed through the uncertainty and the late nights and the hard work. You took the first step in propelling the collections to new heights. You've planted the seeds, and your dedication is a catalyst for change. Thank you. I'll hand over to Nick now.
Good morning, everyone. Well, in many ways, I had the easiest job of anyone involved in this course, from the hub team to the participants. I wasn't involved in starting the course. I wasn't involved in the manual creation. I didn't create the actual content. I didn't have to do the actual assignments or mark it. So that was interesting for me. All I had to do was watch and learn and listen, and then watch and listen and learn again when I had to edit the recordings, and again until it made sense. But so for me, this was just a great learning experience. And some of the things that I learned would be, one, that natural science collections are way more fun and fascinating and very, very frustrating than I'd ever thought before. There's just so much to consider, from ethics to admin to keeping collections safe and disaster management. And there was just a lot to get through. All of you have insanely interesting and difficult jobs. And it's a wonder you guys found the time to actually do the course. That was one thing I learned. Another thing I learned was that actually a lot of preparation went into the course, the manuals, the preparations, the discussions with Michelle and the working groups and the various presenters. And it shows. It was all very interesting and well put together. But none of that survives contact with the real world, where there's load shedding and other issues that can cause challenges at the last minute. But everybody rolled with it well. And then the most important thing I learned actually from this was that mostly it's the community that matters here. Everybody was coming at this from a different angle. You all had different experiences. You all worked with different collections. You all had different resources or challenges in your particular area in that. And no one-size-fits-all solution works in these circumstances. So the discussions were where I had the most fun, I guess, learning about what kind of stopper works best, or which vials can't be used with which kind of collections, or how you stop insects from being eaten. And everybody had different tips and tricks and solutions and challenges that they'd learned over the years, and that other people didn't know that could solve their challenges. So it was the fact that everybody put something in meant that everybody got something more out of it than they would have otherwise, which that's really something. And I'm sure there's a lesson in there, but I haven't learned that one yet. So I'll be interested in seeing what you guys think about what you've learned. And I'll leave my colleague Fulu to end off this section.
Thank you, Nick. So from my side, I am very proud of the team that was running the course. And I just also want to apologize to Usisipo and Ian and Christian and Adrian. I didn't mention them in the beginning, but they were also they also contributed so much to the cause. I'm proud of the way we ran things, how we persevered when things were difficult, when things were uncertain. But the team spirit is really what drove the whole process. And it was our first time, it was our very first time. And that goes for the team that organized or ran the course, as well as everyone that participated, that were doing the course. So it was a great learning experience, and we are not certain whether we're going to run it again, but if we do, we have the experience, and so it was our first. I'm also grateful to Michelle for the wealth of knowledge that she brought into the course and her experience. I just couldn't bring myself to believe just how much information is in Michelle. Can you imagine the 14 webinars and the information that she gave? And also, we can't not acknowledge the amount of work that the working group that developed the manual went into. Most of the information that was in the course, actually the course was based on the manual. So all that knowledge and experience and information, it came from the community and those people that gave their time and effort to developing the manual. And Chanel for just being a super organized and supportive person, and Nick for just always being there and ready to assist. So I think you realize that Nick is the kind of person who will just say, here I am, what can I learn? And how can I help? So yeah, I'm really grateful to everyone. And I'm also proud of everyone who completed the course. It wasn't easy. It was a lot of work, a lot of information. You had to take time from your daily jobs to do the assignments, to work through your collections. So I can only imagine how hard it was for you. And it was lots of information that you needed to make sense of and apply. So it couldn't have been easy. And I think what went well was how we organized ourselves on the course. Yes, it was mentioned that we were kind of doing it as we went. There was no curriculum that was prepared beforehand. And I think we learned from that. I enjoyed the practice sessions. I think those really helped us come in front of you and seem like we had everything under control. So we would meet before we did the webinars and the discussion forums. I think those that contributed their presentations know this. I really appreciated those sessions, and I really loved how people had the space to present, so to contribute to the knowledge that was being taught. So I don't feel like it was a course that was one direction, where it was the people running the course just putting out the information and you had to receive it. It was participatory, and I loved that. And I think where we can improve is finding ways to finalize the course. I don't know how. And I guess that's something that we can work together as a community to determine. And then my highlights, I've already said this, having people that are doing the course also present, and the opportunity to submit your assignments, the drafts of your assignments beforehand, and having feedback on that so that you could go back and improve them. And I think that was a good thing to do. And then last one, for the challenges, I think the scheduling presented some challenges for us. As you can see, we have other projects running, we have our daily jobs running, so it wasn't always easy to just find time to work on things for the course. And also just not having the capacity to lighten Michelle's load. Yeah, so like I said, I don't know how she was able to do it. And not being someone who comes from collections, I couldn't go to her and say, let me do this chapter because yeah, I'm not capacitated like that. So yeah, that is all in terms of my my reflections. And now we will be moving to getting your reflections about the course. Before we move there, I asked people on the chat to open your videos. We want to see if you have your NSCF themed colors on. You can see I have my green. I see Rendani has a green. I'm seeing lots of grays. I don't know if that is indicative of your attitude today. I hope not. Nick, that looks red to me. It does. I see Svelani is on that black and white. Lots of grays into the team. I'm just going to assume them going. NSCF colors. I must say we have vibrant colors. That's why I went for the green, because it's vibrant. And oh, I see Daniela's scarf there with the orange. Not many oranges there. I see the white. The white is the easy one. There, Robin. Lots of grays. Oh, so thank you, everyone. Chanel, we can go and share the screen. Some people have a mixture of the grays and the whites, and I saw earlier Alfia's had green, white, and gray, I think, on one, on a sweater. So that's nice. Right. Thanks, everyone. I see you, Winston and Maggie and Gabriel there, Lazarus, Rufuno there, Swiso, I see Mrendeni is not on camera. So thank you, everyone. Tanya, I see you. Nelisiwe. Thank you. Right. Let us go on to the next slide. So we will be doing an activity just to get your reflections. We won't be able to have everyone talk. So for us to get your reflections, we want to use the Jamboard. So I am going to share the link to the Jamboard. You can just click on it to open it. And on it, you are going to have 3 pages or 3 frames. You can move between the 3 frames, but you can start with the first one. And so on the first frame, you are going to comment or give us what song, movie, or book title best reflects your experience of the course. And then the second frame is, what do you think the course made you an expert in? And the third one, what kept you going through all the assignments? So to add your comments, you're going to open the link. You click on the left panel, there is a sticker note option. If you click on it, you will write on it and then click save. And you can drag it around the page to place it wherever you want. Right. Is that clear for everyone? Do you understand what you need to do? You can just give me a thumbs up if all is good. And Chanel is going to take us to that link to the Jamboard. We are going to see it on the screen as you are adding your comments there. Yeah. So you can open the Jamboard. Okay, I see there are people that have opened it. So just on the left there, sticky note, you write your comment and click save. So let's get that going. Let's spend 5 minutes on each of the frames. So yeah. Yes, I see people are, I want to break free. Queen. Oh, that's nice. Another one bites the dust. Queen for each assignment that is done. Let's get those sticky notes coming. I'm just going to switch devices and I will be back just now. Just keep adding your sticky notes.
I love that Taylor Swift one.
It was indeed a long walk to freedom. I love that. Chanel, I think we can now move to the next frame. Thank you.
Okay, so people on the screens that you have open, you can, at the top, you'll see there's a bar that you can just, there's an arrow that you can click on to go to the next frame. Oh, I see people have already started populating.
I can see the one that says the course made them an expert in being a team player. I love that. I see another teamwork and time management. Yeah, I understand why you say that because juggling between the course and I believe some people are also doing their like masters and PhDs. So juggling between the course and the formal learning or degree and working. Some are parents, so they have families. Yeah, so lots of juggling and time management.
Some got married, some had babies during the course.
Yeah, lots happening, life happening. And I think because we did it just coming out of COVID, maybe some people had to deal with some losses. So some people suffered with their health, but persevered. So, yeah. Yeah, sticking through challenges. Someone there says they don't think they're an expert, but they learn more about collections. Don't be afraid to brag a little. Let us know what you have improved. So if someone has a problem with something, what is it that they can instantly come to you with as a problem, and they know you will help them with it? Organization, so being organized. Or is that organizing the collections maybe? Or you yourself being organized? Health and safety. I think that was a major highlight in the course. Just what are the requirements for health and safety? We had some examples of the fires that happened, like the UCT fire. So I think we learned a lot from those experiences and just how to deal with them if it happens, because those people that dealt with them with those challenges shared what they did. So we got to learn a lot. I think we have now finished the 5 minutes. We can move to the last page. Oh, people are ahead of us, Chanel. So what got you through the assignments? Oh, the NSCF family. So being part of the community seems to be very helpful. I wonder if people that were doing the assignments were calling each other to to help each other out, asking each other questions, being a team member support. Yeah, and being able to go through the course as a team. I'm seeing a lot of things or comments about the team. I'll finish what we started. So there was that accountability to face that. See this one up, specific team that kept on back. Oh, that's right. Positive teach to life. That's great. Self-solution is the vehicle of all time, and the fact that they will consistently get me going. Okay. So also the collection assessment helped to keep people going.
Okay. Hopefully I might have dropped off. Great, so I think we're done. Yeah, some nice comments. I really enjoyed the first one. There were some funny songs and book titles that came out. Yeah. So I think we'll move on now. Michelle, I'm going to give back over to you. Let me just get the slideshow going.
Thank you, Shamel. Yeah, my connection just kicked me out. But yeah, we will move to Michelle to take us through the awarding of the certificates and recognition of the top performers.
Thanks. Great to see the comments on the Jamboards. I thought more people would have had chocolate and coffee to get them through the assignments. So it seems like it was more soulful or spiritual or emotional things in physical treats. Anyway, thanks for all those comments. Okay, so now we move on to recognizing the people and the teams who completed the course, and we are just kind of awarding electronic certificates in this session, and then Fulu will send them to everybody. But just to say that we are going to be making hard copies of the certificates, and that will be for each individual. And those will be nicely framed and sent to everybody, and you can display them on your wall. Okay, so we're going to just go through. I think if you will try and show the people as we do the awards. So when your name is called out, if you can put your camera on so that we can see you. So let's move on to the first one. So this is the certificate, and it's for Kerry Hunter. So she was based at KZN Museum. I don't think Kerry's here. If she is, you can shout out. No, I don't think Kerry's there. So well done to Kerry. Next one. This one is for Bernard and Sifilani from WITS, from the Evolutionary Studies Institute, their paleontology collection. And congratulations to them. I know they had a tough time getting their assignments in. I think they were working while they were in the field, trying to do field work and trying to do their assignments at the same time. So congratulations, Bernard and Sifilani. They worked as a team. And then the next one is for Sifiso. So he started off working at the Buse Herbarium at UKZN. And in the middle of the course, he got a permanent job at WITS in their zoology museum, and I think some herbarium work. So he also got married during the course. So Sifiso had many challenges to deal with. So I think it's a great achievement, Sifiso, for completing the course and submitting all your assignments. Congratulations.
Thank you, Michelle.
Then we have Simone Trippy. She was also based at Buse Herbarium at UKZN. Congratulations, Simone. I didn't see her. I don't think she's here. Okay, can move on to the next one. So Tanya and Prudence, they worked together. They were both based at the Buse Herbarium at UKZN. So Tanya is one of the NSCF appointed staff, and Prudence works for UKZN. So I think Tanya also had a heavy load on her plate incorporating orphan collections. So congratulations to you two. I saw Tanya is here. Is Prudence with us? Well done, Tanya. Okay, then our next certificate is for a team effort, and these are the staff from the ARC, from the Plant Health and Protection. So Grace, Chantal, Pietru, Robin, Maggie, and Khotso. So I saw some of them are here. So well done to your team. A lot of collections that they look after. And some of the assignments were quite complicated because they covered multiple collections in their assignments. So it was a quite an intensive team effort. So well done to you. The next certificate is for Dikeledi. So she's from the ARC, the OVI, and she looks after the tick collection there. Is Dikeledi with us today? Okay, well done to her. And then the next certificate is Sibu and Bianca. It's for them. They're from Bay World, from the PE Museum. And Sibu, I know she was appointed quite late and had a lot of catching up to do. So I think it's really good that they managed to work as a team and to submit all their assignments and do well in the course. So congratulations to them. I didn't see that they were here. All right, next one. So this is the team from the National Herbarium. So congratulations to them, Kululwa, Roberta, and Mashiani. So I did see Kululwa is here. Well done to you. And Roberta, I don't know if Roberta's here. Well done, Kululwa, and Mashiani. So a good team effort from those three members of staff at the National Herbarium in Pretoria. Okay, now this one, this is the KZN Herbarium in Durban. This is a Sanby KZN Herbarium. My eyes are not that good that I can see. This was probably our biggest team.
Can I read the name?
Yeah, if you can, thanks, Chanel.
Okay, it was Sangalesiwe, Winston, Manoli, Maxine, Rangani, Talia, Nkapeni, and Mpume.
Okay, thanks, Chanel. So yes, congratulations to this team, and I think that they really worked very well together as a team and invested time in the assignments. So well done to that team from KZN Herbarium. Okay, then our next certificate is for Henri, and she's from the Compton Herbarium, Sandby's Compton Herbarium at Kirstenbosch. So I don't know if Henri is here today. So she also struggled to get the course completed because she was on maternity leave. So she's one of the people who had to definitely multitask doing her job. Oh, she's no longer with Sandy. Oh, I'm very sad to hear that. Okay, but anyway, she did an amazing job. So congratulations to her. Next slide. Okay, then this is the team that was from KZN Museum in Pietermaritzburg. So they also look after different kinds of collections. So Matabaro, Mandisa, and Nelisiwe. Congratulations to you. And good to see that you worked as a team. I think I did see Matabaro and Mandisa. There's Nelisiwe. Congratulations, Nelisiwe and Matabaro. Well done to you too. Okay, thanks. Next. So the next certificate is to Joffred and Gabriel. They're from Iziko Museum, and they work together every day closely. And so it was really good that they could work on the assignments together. And they submitted, they were one of the teams that did one of the most difficult assignments, the curation plan, and actually did a good job of a very difficult assignment. So well done to them too at Iziko Museum. I see Gabriel and Joffred are there together. Well done, guys. Okay, and our next certificate is for Rendani, and she's at UKZN. She looks after the Zoology Museum there, and she really put in a lot of effort into her assignments, also having to do her full-time job. So well done, Rendani. I think you've really developed a lot of knowledge through doing the course. And I see Rendani's there. Well done to you. Okay, then our next certificate is for the people at Ditsong, and this one has some sadness for us as a community and for her colleagues at Ditsong. So earlier in the year, we lost Mashlodi. So she passed away very sadly, but she was a member of a team with Lemmy and with Lazarus. And so it's with some sadness that we award the certificate, but still to congratulate Lemmy and Lazarus. And I see Lazarus is there, and Mpho, who worked with Fortunate, with Mashlodi, is awesome for, and Lazarus. Okay, well done. Okay, the next one. Okay, this is the SIAB team. I'm going to have to ask Chanel to read out the names again. So they also, this is a big team, and I think they work very well together through the assignments, and also contributed a lot to the discussion forums, this team. So Chanel, can you read out their names for us, please?
Okay, it was Nkozanati, Zwandile, Nonkuliso, Vuyani, Amanda, Sifamandla, and Zenzi.
Okay. All right. So have we got any of our colleagues from SIAB here? Oh, Nonkuliso, there you are.
Yes, we're all here. Come on, guys. We're all here.
There they all are. Okay. Well done to the SIAB team. And thank you for all your contributions to the discussion forum sessions. And then Jermaine, who was is at the National Museum in Bloemfontein. So Jermaine worked on her own. She was also a great contributor to our discussion forums. I think I saw her, yeah.
Yes,
there
I
she
am
is.
here.
Good to
Hello.
great.
Thank
Well
you.
done. Well done. Good to see you. Okay, so those are the people who passed the course and they know what their marks were. Everybody got their feedback. And then for the group that got distinctions, so congratulations, a special congratulations to the people who excelled. And the first distinction, Karin. So Karin is based at the OVI. She is in charge of the entomology vector collection there. So well done, Karin. I can see that she's joined us. There she is.
Thank you, Michelle.
Well done. And then this is the team from the Council for Geoscience. I don't think that they've joined us. They've split up since doing the course. I know Cameron is now at WITS and Samu is at Council for Geoscience and Louis is working in private industry, but they also did some really excellent, very detailed assignments. So well done to our team from Council for Geoscience. And then also with a distinction, and I think just for commitment and all the effort, they really put a lot of effort into their assignments and attending all the different sessions and the tutorials, Andrea and Kirsten. So they look after the Hellman collection at OVI. Well done. I think they are with us, Kirsten and Andrea.
Yes, thanks so much, Michelle. I just don't have video, but thank you very much again for all the effort from your side that you put into the course. And maybe just quickly to Andrea too, that she never stopped pushing and didn't let us sort of slack down. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. All right, so Andrea was the pusher. So congratulations to them. All right.
We were both pushers. Thanks,
Okay,
Michelle.
pushed each other. Good. Okay, good. Well done. And then to the person with the second highest score overall. So also over 90%, Nikisha from Skukuza, so she's from Sandparks and worked on her own, but really, really worked hard and did a lot of extra work, more assignments, more options, very detailed, very thorough, a really exceptional effort. I'm sure Nikisha's with us. Nikisha?
Thank you so much, Michelle. I'm not sure if my video is working. I've been having some connection problems because we on and off with electricity and Skukuza, but thank you so much. And I just want to say thank you to the NSCF family and to you, Fulu and Chanel for everything. You know, just coming into a position like this and starting a course, it was very overwhelming, but almost 3 years into my position and with this course, it's helped so much, just so much. So very grateful.
Okay, thanks, Nikisha, and well done. Yeah, you really put in the work. So well done on that. Okay. And then top of the class, so the person scoring the highest, not by far, but still got the highest, also over 90%. And that's Daniela. And Daniela works for a private company, so it's a private collection, AfriBugs in Pretoria. Daniela contributed also a lot to our discussion forum, so I think we have learned a lot about how they work and their collection. And yeah, Daniela also put in an enormous amount of effort into her assignments and also did more than the minimum required. And put a lot of detail and a lot of work into that. I did see Daniela was with us earlier. Daniela?
Yes, I am here. Thank you so much, Michelle. I just also want to say thank you to all the participants for sharing their collections, and so that we could all experience different worlds. Nikisha was amazing. I loved seeing Skukuza's collections. Saib, everyone, and of course to you and your team. Thank you so much for making an amazing course. I'm also going to do a shout out to Peter Hawkes because he did help me a lot with my assignments. So yeah, but it was fantastic, and thank you to everyone for facilitating a sharing of knowledge. So thank you.
Okay, thanks, Daniela, and well done. Really outstanding effort. So thank you and well done to you. Okay, so those are the certificates. I see Matabara did ask about the awarding certificates individually, and that we will be doing. So each individual person will get a certificate. It'll have the names of the whole team there, but each member of the team will get their own certificate. So that will be the case. All right. Okay, and then just if we can move on, then just to say about the prizes. So we did say some prizes for some people. So the top scorers, so the top two, that's Nikisha and Daniela, 1,500 rands worth of books. There's also posters and other items from the Kirsten Bosch bookshop. It's not Sandy's bookshop. It's at Sandy, but it's not our bookshop. It belongs to the Botsock. And then for those who got distinctions, it's 500 Rand each, also to select a book or two books. And that's Kirsten, Andrea, Cameron, Samu, Louis, and Karin. And just to say, it won't only be plant books. There's lots of different options there: zoology, geology, paleontology. And there's also history books and books about some of our heroes in the collections, the Fishy Smiths and Marjorie Courtney Latimer. There's cookbooks, cookery books, so you could go and I'll be in contact with you to let you know how to take up your prize. So well done. Okay, so I think that brings us to the end of our program. So I think Fulu is it. I think that's it. We don't have anything else to cover.
So
Is
I
Fulu?
think we
Did
just
we
want
lose Fulu?
Yeah, I don't know if she's here. I think we just wanted to open it up if anyone had any comments before we went to closing remarks.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Chanel. So yeah, any final comments from anybody? So I did see that yeah, so Matabara was asking about, can't we give one name per certificate if possible? So I did think about that when we were figuring out how to make the award, how to give the recognition. And it's quite difficult because there may be a person on a team who did very little or nothing. And there may be someone who did a huge amount of work. And that's it. We're hoping that the certificate will carry some weight. So when you're saying, I completed the course, here's my certificate, it means that you have knowledge of implementing the manual. And if you were one of the team members who didn't do anything or did minimum, we giving the impression that you know a lot, but it may be the team who knows a lot, not you as an individual. So that's why I decided that for the teams who submitted, they must be awarded the certificate as a team, but each of you will get a certificate. So it was quite difficult to know how to do that. So what NQF level is this? It's not registered through the National Qualifications Framework. It was something that we were under a bit of pressure to do, was to formalize the course, but that would have meant then that we had to register it through an official training institution. So SANBI we're not allowed to offer formal training courses because we're not registered as a training organization. So that would have meant going through a university, and they would have wanted to make money out of the course, and that would have been a big cost. And they will only go through the process of registering a course if it's going to keep getting enough students into the future to justify running the course. So it was quite difficult to decide, and it can take about 5 years to get a course registered and approved by the Council for Higher Education. So we had to make a difficult decision about whether we just go ahead with our own course or whether we wait for a long time. And at the end of the day, we just decided that this was the simplest process. Okay, let's see. Any other comments? No. Okay, so I think we can close then. So I'd just like to thank everybody who joined us today for this award ceremony. I wish we could have all been in the same place and we could have all had a nice big fat lunch and chatted and been able to hear the clapping and cheering for each other. It's not quite the same doing it virtually, but it's what we've got. It's the way we work these days. But thank you for joining us, and thanks to Fulu and Chanel for putting everything together. And we will be sending out the certificates, and I'll be contacting the prize winners as well. So thanks everybody. And Chanel, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I just want to say that I know a lot of people missed the intro video at the beginning because you joined late, so I'll end off with playing that again. It's such a nice look back that Fulu put together. So yeah, you can then leave when the video is done if you want to watch it again or if you didn't see it in the beginning.
Okay, all right, that'll be a great way to close. Okay, so thank you, and we'll be seeing you around at other NSCF events and things that we do. So thank you, and yeah, stay and watch the video again. Thanks.